And we're back. We are ENT Hooligans. It's myself and Ness, and we are doing the Crime Syndicate.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, everyone. Yep, we are back with the Crime Syndicate.
That is correct. So, our topic of conversation today is...
Before we begin, I'd like to remind
yes.
everyone...
time on this show. That's the topic for today.
Thank you, Mr. Producer Guy.
The title says audio
because
only.
The identity of the suspects being interrogated should not
That's
be...
correct.
Oh, man, I should have morphed my voice then.
Oh, do voice changer?
I should have morphed my voice. I should have morphed my voice.
Oh, no.
All right. Later, guys.
Just a little humor.
A little humor before we begin, and also, before we begin, I'd like to remind you all to give us a like, a thumbs up, ring that bell, and of course, you can also follow us on social media. The links are in the description below.
That's right. And thank you to our new subscribers and our old subscribers, our previous subscribers, and not so much. So,
That's
our
my
topic
gimmick.
of conversation
That's my gimmick.
is...
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. I believe we're getting into gimmick infringement, which is indicative of the Crime Syndicate.
A little disclaimer for you guys. If you see that there's no face cam on the show, that's because for you new subscribers, I produce the show. I'm behind the scenes only right now on their show. This is their deal, so be it that this is the main station where things are transmitted from, I figured, why would you guys want to see me on camera on this particular show? You know what I'm saying? It would, first of all, it wouldn't be fair. It's their show. Secondly, why take the stage from them? So, that's all, guys. This is why it's audio only. So, back to you guys.
Yes.
Back to you, Paul.
Take it away, Crystal.
So our topic... Okay, I'm done laughing now. So our topic for today is Deadly Women, not the show. Why do they kill and how? We have two people we're going to discuss today. One of them is Eileen Wuornos, who... Well, I'll get to that in a little while. And the other person is Lizzie Borden.
Infamous, very infamous indeed.
Very infamous indeed. So that's who we're going to be talking about today.
Yes.
So, our first case, Eileen Wuornos. I'll give you some background on her.
Yeah, let's start with the why, yes.
Yes. So, she was born in the 60s at age 14 or 15. I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. When she was 3, her mother died. And her father never remarried or anything. She was abused by her father, and she had an older brother. So you fast forward at 15 or 14, she had a child. And she didn't want this child. She said to the nurse to take him away because her blood was bad.
Now, before you go any further, this child that she had, was this child pregnancy, was it a result of rape?
No, it was not.
Oh, it was consensual?
It was consensual.
Okay.
Yes. So, fast forward, at 16, she hitchhikes to Florida. She was born up north somewhere. She hitchhikes to Florida. Then at 17 years old, she's told her older brother has died from cancer. Her and her brother were very close. So, fast forward into her 20s. She meets a woman at a bar, and she is later quoted to say that this woman was the love and is the love of her life. Her name was Kathleen, I believe. So, she meets this woman. They move in together. Eileen feels like she has to provide for this woman because this woman told her that she wanted a house with a white picket fence. Well, because of that, Eileen decides to kill. She kills truck drivers or people asking her, or men asking her if she'd want to ride. She hitchhikes down this highway. Her first victim was a truck driver. His name was Richard Mallory. That was the only crime she was convicted for. Not the other 6 men. So
7 of them. She killed 7 of them.
7. She killed
Wow.
7 of them. Yes. So she decides she's going to kill him, Richard Mallory. So she goes, and he's under the illusion that, she's a prostitute. That's how she markets herself. So she goes, they're about to do stuff. She gets the gun, shoots him in the head, leaves his body by the side of the road, gets money and his car.
Now, it's important to note, excuse me, it's important to note that obviously all of her victims were men. And
Yes.
we go back to the abuse of her by her father.
Right.
So, as we all know, the first bond that a female has, that a little girl has with the opposite sex, it's with her father.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's going to essentially mold and shape the landscape of how she views the opposite sex.
That's correct. So at this point, she just views them as money, and whatever she can get. Because she wants to give her lover a house with a white picket fence. Her last victim, I'm not going to go through all them because they basically go the same way. Her last victim was a preacher, and all he did was he offered her a ride. There was no sexual nature. And she killed him. And he only had $20 in his wallet. Didn't steal the car, though. Then in 92, she gets caught.
Mm-hmm.
There's an undercover operation to catch her. The lead investigator makes moves on her at this bar. She falls for it. Once she falls for it, they go outside, and as soon as they go outside, they arrest her. 3 months later, the court is in session. They find her guilty. She ends up cursing at the jury. For
What did
finding
she
her
say
guilty.
to the jury? I believe, this is very important.
Yes, she said, "You mother effers. I'm the victim here. Because I was raped. Does that matter?" That's what she said. So,
And the root of all of this, obviously, is the abuse that she endured at the hands of her father.
mm-hmm.
So that set off a wave of anger, resentment, hatred towards men.
Of course. Yeah. So, after all this happens, her lawyer wants to get publicity for it, so by making movies or writing books, so she fires
Of course,
him.
yeah. Of course.
She becomes a born-again Christian because of this other woman. Oh, by the way, Her girlfriend, Kathleen, that was the end of it once she testified in court.
She testified against her, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So, Eileen was adopted by a Christian woman up north. And she admitted it. She admitted that she killed these 7 men for greed. For money, because that was the only way she could provide. And also, if they let her out, she would kill again. That's what she said. In 2002, she was executed. And her last words were, "I'm coming with Jesus in a rocket, like Independence Day."
That is really creepy.
Yeah, it was. If you listen to her actually speak, she sounds like she's off her rocker.
That's because she was off her rocker.
Yeah, she
we're
really
talking
was.
Here you have a person who lost her biological mother at the age of 3, lost her brother at 17, and was abused by her father.
Mm-hmm. Why did she kill?
There you have it.
She killed to, in her mind, provide for someone. When in reality, I believe she was reliving abuse. And the only way she could stop it was to kill them. And I think every man that she killed resembled her father.
Absolutely. Think about this. Talk about the truck drivers, most of them. Mm-hmm. Truck drivers are typically older men who are like in their 40s and 50s.
Yes.
Then you have the preacher, again, another older man, father figure type.
Yep.
So yeah, she targeted men that resembled her father.
Yes.
Which is the mark of every serial killer.
Oh yeah, definitely, But for her to finally admit it, she did it, and this was why.
Yeah, because she felt like she wasn't doing anything wrong, really.
Right, yeah.
In some ways, she thought she was in the right to do what she did.
Because she was the victim, supposedly.
Yeah.
When there was no evidence of rape whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
She made it up. That she made up.
Which in and of itself is not normal.
No. She thought she could justify it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She thought that was her way of justifying it.
Yeah.
And that's just sad.
This kind of behavior is not normal at all. Not
no.
normal.
Not at all. It's indicative of a sociopath who has no feelings just about herself, Yeah. So, are we done with this case?
Yeah, I think we've tackled the why and the how that this particular killed her victims.
Yeah. So,
she shot and killed all of them, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Execution style?
Yes, execution style, all of them. Yeah.
All
right. So, our last case is Lizzie Borden. She was born in Massachusetts, in Boston, in fact, in the 1800s.
Go Patriots! Yeah!
In the 1800s. She lost her mother at a very young age. She had a sister as well, an older sister, and they were very close. She was also very close to her father. Now, her father puts in an ad asking for a nanny for the kids because they were very young. There's a response. This woman ends up falling in love with him, the father. Lizzie is
kind of like the movie The Wedding Planner, where Jennifer Lopez's character falls in love with the guy whose wedding she's planning.
Yes, that's correct. So
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. So she falls in love. This person falls in love with Lizzie's father, and Lizzie is very jealous because Lizzie is Daddy's little girl. Whatever Lizzie wants, she gets. And they were very rich as well. They lived in a mansion. Yes. So her sister, later on, her sister and her find out that her father, Lizzie's father, is going to buy a farmhouse for their stepmother and have her name only in this document, stating that she's the only one that owns it. Lizzie gets very upset. She sends her sister away to Long Island because she had friends there. And she ends up going to a friend's house the day before this murder takes place. That she thought, oh, maybe if I go there, I'll have an alibi. So the next day, she comes home. They have breakfast. And she tells the housekeeper to go wash the windows. Lizzie tells the housekeeper. While the housekeeper is washing the windows, Lizzie goes upstairs and kills her mother with an axe. Stepmother, I'm sorry. With an axe. Chops her head off.
Oh my God.
Yes. So, after that, this happened at 10:30 in the morning. At 11 o'clock, her father comes in, has coffee, and takes a nap. She kills him the same way with an axe. Lizzie kills the same way. So...
that must have been a very gruesome crime scene, for sure.
It was.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, it was. But the police didn't save any evidence or anything like that because people were walking all over the house. And they didn't bother Lizzie at all because they thought, well, she couldn't do it because she was in hysterics. So, 3 months later, the police are saying, yeah, she did do it. So 3 months later, they have court. The court acquits her. She's acquitted. Lizzie is. For this crime. Because the judge says no woman is capable of doing such evil. So fast forward to the 1900s. She dies in her 80s, Lizzie does, of natural causes and very peaceful.
Wow, that's kind of chilling.
It is. Yes. So now we know the how.
We also know the why is a little more, is kind of sketchy. I mean, I guess you figure it, you kind of know the why as well. I mean, you figure Daddy's little girl and somebody else, he remarries and then he feels like she's taking him from her. Then he goes and buys this farmhouse for her, further setting her off.
Yeah, he buys this farmhouse for her stepmom.
Yeah.
And that's what sets her off.
And then she commits these double homicides. And because we're talking about the 1800s, that mentality was indicative at the times of, women couldn't be capable of such things, so we're not gonna.
Correct.
On top of the fact that you had a crime scene that wasn't preserved.
No, it wasn't preserved at all.
Because if this were to happen now, and you tell the jury, if the defense tells the jury that the crime scene wasn't preserved, then you're going to create reasonable doubt.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's what happened with this case. And at the times, they thought women were not capable of doing something like this.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about that particular thought process?
Somebody asked me if I was offended by that.
Are you?
I said yes because no, I'm not psycho. Because women are capable if pushed far enough, just like men are.
You push a person far enough.
Yeah.
They're very much capable of anything.
Yeah. Back then, women couldn't do anything. Women were to be seen, not heard.
Pretty much. They pretty much had no rights.
Right. They had no rights whatsoever. And now we do. We have the right to vote. We have the right to work. We're not just staying home anymore.
Well, here in America.
Yes, that's right.
I still have dominion over you, you beast of the earth.
There you have it.
Anyway.
Yeah, here in America, women have a lot more rights now than they used to.
Yeah.
You still have other countries that are still behind the times on that.
Mm-hmm. The Middle East, for example.
The Middle East is a great example of that.
But despite of, even here in America, there's still people who are of the belief that women belong here and men belong right there.
Yeah, you still have that mentality that people tend to still have.
Yeah. And that's really sad.
The generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what that is, a generational curse.
Yes, it is. So, we covered those two cases, I believe.
We covered the why and the how. And the how. This is it's commonplace when you talk about some of the things that these two particular women dealt with that led them to doing what they did.
Yeah, one wasn't abused.
Many, and there are many others out there, similar stories.
Right. One of them... Now, is it nature or their environment?
It's their environment.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Product of their environment.
Yeah. It's not that you're born to be a killer.
No. Because the thing about humans is we have the ability to adapt to our environment.
Right.
There's things that we're naturally born with, and then there's things we learn as we grow up. Mm-hmm. There's learned behavior, and then there's naturally born behavior.
Yeah. I mean, you hear about survivors of rape, and they don't go out and kill men.
They don't even want to relive the nightmare.
No.
So they don't really speak on it until later.
Right. And it's not that they're hiding it, it's because they're ashamed of it.
They're ashamed, they're traumatized.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed. All the above. They don't want to relive. They don't want to have to stand there and relive and recount.
Right.
What happened?
And when you look at Warner's case, she made it up to justify why she did what she did.
Yeah.
And she gloated about it. If you hear her testimony, she's gloating. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, this is what I did. They deserved it.
Yeah, they deserved it. And
that's
what she said.
That was her mentality.
Yeah, she said they deserved it. Yeah. Yep.
This is the mark of serial killers. They target people who resemble people in their lives who wronged them.
Yeah. I was watching something with my grandmother one day on Telemundo, I think it was, and this young man, killed women who looked like his mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I don't know what happened at the end because I left, but
I mean,
yeah.
it's like, and Ted Bundy killed women who looked like his first girlfriend who rejected him.
Yeah. Yep. Ed Gein, who is the man who
Yikes.
the Saw movies are based off of.
Wow.
He killed and did all these weird things. Our producer could tell you more about what he saw. He was traumatized, I think, by what he saw. They had a documentary on her or on him.
Real twisted stuff.
Yes, very. Yeah, he made bowls out of skin, lampshades out of women's skin. There was a belt.
Soup bowls. Don't forget the soup bowls.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, the soup bowls, right? And the chairs that were upholstered in women's skin.
The soup bowls basically dip into skull. To give you guys the visual there.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a visual none of us would like to have.
No.
Well, you know me, bro. I always love to up the ante around here. You know that.
but nonetheless, you know, when you consider these
it's
things,
creatively disturbing.
it's disturbing,
is.
but it has a level of brilliance behind it. It
does. Well, he also made a bodysuit of skin, women's skin,
Which
and
he would parade
they
around.
asked. Wow,
Go ahead.
in
Tom.
his house.
that's
Someone had asked him, I don't remember if it was his lawyer or somebody had asked him, why do you do that? And he said, because have you ever lost the woman that means the most to you and you want to be closer to her? That was his mother.
That
No,
is
he
some
didn't.
really disturbing stuff. Like
He would go and rob graves for these women.
for corpses.
Yeah, for corpses. And he killed
Pretty
one
disturbing,
woman.
yeah.
And then he lived out his days in an insane asylum, playing cards, reading, and communicating with the staff. And he died in 1984. He wasn't even executed. He died of some kind of cancer.
If there's
So-
ever a case for an insanity play, that's it right there.
Yeah. And that's what it was. And he killed... Why did he kill? He killed this woman. He robbed women's graves to be closer to his mother. He felt lost without her.
In his own really disturbing way, that he felt like this was his way to stay close with his mother.
Yeah.
In his own weird, disturbing, scary way.
Right. And he would read medical textbooks and things to know how to dismember. So that's really scary. The fact that he was alone in that house.
My.
Yes. Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he wasn't just disturbed, he was, smart.
Very smart.
Which makes him even more dangerous.
But he came across to people that knew him in town. He came across as slow.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody with that IQ was slow.
No.
Hell no.
He was, in some weird way, it's brilliant, like you said.
Yeah, there's as disturbing as it is, there's a level of brilliance behind what he did and how he went about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
more specifically, how he went about it, not what he did.
Not what he did, but how. I mean,
Man.
like how You know, how do you make soup bowls out of skulls? How do you make upholstered chairs with women's skin? And why would you make
he could
that
have very
belt?
easily opened up a store and sold this stuff to people.
And people would have bought it not knowing that.
Not knowing where this came from.
Yeah. And
I think one of the weirdest one, though, is that belt. Yeah, as we were about to say, Crystal.
Yeah, that belt. Can I say what it was made out of?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ness, do you want to know?
Yeah, wait, go ahead.
Women's nipples.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my reaction.
That is dumbfounding and fascinating in a way.
And he
really
wore it. He wore it with the bodysuit.
That's just some crazy. Wow. Wow. That's one of those. That's one of those that creeps you out, but at the same time, you're like, "What? Wow!"
And believe me, folks, we ain't laughing because we think it's well, we do think it's amusing, but it's not hysterical, ha ha. It's just.
It's just mind blowing. Like what?
Oh my god!
He did what now? Out of what? Wow. Yeah, but he could have very easily had opened up a store and sold this stuff to people.
Yes.
Of course he could have.
People would have bought it all the way.
And people would have bought it. And now, that house has become a fascination point with people.
I bet.
Because everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone has this thing for the macabre and the weird. We're fascinated by it.
To some extent or another, yeah. There is some level of fascination behind it.
Yeah.
I remember telling Ness, though... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's alright. You think about people like us that are visually impaired or blind. Back in the early 1900s, 1800s, we were known as freaks. And they would put us in circuses. You know. People that had disabilities that they didn't understand.
Yeah. Well, how the times have changed.
Yes. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Indeed, times have changed.
I was gonna mention how I was having this conversation with Ness a couple of days ago about the Ed Gein conversation the documentary that we watched, Crystal, and
yes.
I was telling Ness that when they went to investigate the house and everything, some of them had to step out because of what they saw. I mean, the first thing that hit your eyes was a body that was hanging via hooks, and not only that, the body was just gutted.
Yeah, it looked like a deer. They thought it was a deer at first. Because it was deer season.
So you open the door, and that's the first thing you see, a gutted, hanging body. I mean, yeah, that to say the least was very stomach turning. And just imagine the stench.
I know.
And not only that, that's something that you never think you're going to see.
No, of course not.
You go to a crime scene, you kind of have an idea of what you might see.
Yeah, dismemberment in terms of maybe limbs or things of that nature. Ripped apart bodies, hands here. Yeah, okay, though that's not brutal in itself, but it is a way,
but you're not expecting
way different picture when you see something cut open like that.
You're not expecting to walk into a crime scene and see a body that's been gutted.
Gutted, yeah.
Like that's not, you're not expecting to see that.
Coinciding with the furniture that's been coated with human skin and the soup bowls made out of human skulls.
And the soup bowls and the clothes and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not something that you're expecting to see.
No, not at all.
Oh.
Keep in mind, it wasn't
craftsmanship with the bodies that he killed.
Yeah, he did. And he was a farmhand as well.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
It does, yeah.
But
it
get
does.
this, he didn't. When they arrested him, he went quietly. He spoke in 24 hours after they arrested him, and he was very polite. He said, please, thank you. Yes, ma'am, no, sir, yes, sir. It was very polite.
Okay, one thing that struck me, though, was when they were talking about his behavior once he was in the hospital, how they said that he, again, going with what you said, he was very polite. You would have never known that he would have been the one who committed these horrendous acts. And they also discussed how probably what he needed was that watchful eye, and once that eye wasn't there anymore, he didn't know how to necessarily act and behave. So he went and committed these. Right, he lost all sense of whatever humanity he had at that given point. You know.
Yeah.
So the question, I guess, would become: what happens had somebody been there to watch over him in substitution to his mom? You know, what if there was another special someone in his life that could have said, "Hey, listen, man, you know."
Those are very good questions. Yeah, those are very good questions to ask. Yeah.
The thing about his mother was she was very controlling. She said men were dirty. Sex was bad. She was a religious fanatic.
Oh, God.
Yes. Whenever the boys would have girlfriends over, she would throw them out and say, you can't do that, you're dirty. So there was psychological abuse as well. And he grew accustomed to that. You know, he thought that's how life was. And that's just really sad, you know. Had he had someone who was special to him, like you said,
maybe things would have turned out differently, yeah.
But that's the thing, nobody was special to him. He couldn't find that special someone because that special someone was taken away from him.
Or better said, he couldn't fathom the idea of a special someone.
Right. Whether it's a friend, a girlfriend, anything.
Whether it's a friend or girlfriend.
This whole thing is just sad.
It is. It's
really
very
is.
sad.
It really is.
It is.
Really is.
And he got confined to a mental hospital and was there until he died in 1984.
That's so sad.
Wow.
He never did interviews or anything like that. They kept him on a pretty tight leash.
Under watch. Yeah.
Because that's what he needed. And he didn't know. You know, he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't. I guess in a way he did. I guess he didn't know any better.
Damn.
And that's sad.
In a way, yeah. He didn't.
No.
Part of him did, but another part of him didn't.
I don't know if part of him did.
Well, I think part of him did.
I think when you approach to destruction. Yeah, I think when you approach it and start doing craftsmanships and things like that, you're very well aware to some degree of what you're doing. I mean, if you have the ability to do something like that, you gotta be some sort of.
You gotta be. Yeah. Not to mention, you gotta be pretty structured and organized to do that. You know?
Yeah. Which takes a very smart and creative mind.
Geez, this should be called Serial Killers. Why and how instead? Because we're going off different cases. Speaking of genius and weird.
Oh, we're going to talk about me now. Mm-hmm. Minus the weird.
No. No, no, sir. We're not talking about you. There was a killer in the 1800s named H.H. Holmes. Have you heard of him?
Triple H.
Oh, the Mexican guy?
No.
Hey, Holmes!
No. No. No.
¿Sabes qué?
Oh, yeah. ¿Sabes qué? Oh, yeah. Thanks for making fun of me. H.H. Holmes was...
Time to play the
game! Yeah. Well done.
Well done. H.H. Holmes was America's first serial killer in the 1800s.
Really?
No, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, it wasn't the 1800s. I think it was the 1700s.
Ooh.
Dang.
He bought a hotel in Chicago. And he would have people live there. In the basement, he made a room. And this room had nothing but gas chambers in them.
Oh my god.
Change electrical, not electrical, but changed.
You think that's where Hitler got his ideas from?
I think so.
You took the question right from me.
I think so. This whole, and he called it his murder castle. And he would take women and kill them.
Murder castle. Boy.
Yeah, that's what he called it. Murder
If
castle.
there was ever an oxymoronic phrase, that is it right there.
Yeah. He'd take women.
Lord Almighty.
He would marry women and he'd kill them. He'd fall in love with, he'd make them fall in love with him and he'd kill them.
That's... Wow.
And he also killed a man. He told this man to fake his own death because of the insurance money.
Of course.
And, well, the man didn't fake his own death.
How many
And
cases,
the wife...
How many cases like that haven't we seen, though, on channels like Oxygen and ID, where women will go ahead and marry men after man after man, and kill them off for the money?
Yeah, of course.
Like just the other day, I was watching the case of Josephine Gray, the Black Widow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So H.H. Holmes killed women and a man in this castle, this murder castle. He had rooms that he'd put them in on ice.
I got a question for the panel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel that when you hear these stories about crimes and people who go on these sprees, is it more fascinating to hear about it when it's a female or when it's a male?
I think it's more fascinating to hear about it when it's a female, because they tend to be more cunning about these things than men.
I agree.
I guess just as they say, women cheat better than men.
It's like when I've seen stories about drug queen pens in comparison to king pens, I'm like, that's freaking brilliant.
It is. Yeah, it's because women put, and I've heard FBI profilers say this, women put thought into their killings and how they're going to do it and when
and how they're going to cover it up.
And how, yes. Yeah. And they tend to kill people they know. They don't, usually.
Yeah, typically they don't attack random people.
Yeah. But Eileen Wuornos did.
Well, that's
but
what
she
we
had
typically they don't.
Yeah.
But she had a type, like all serial killers do. All serial killers have types.
They have types, and that usually resembles somebody in their lives that they felt did them wrong.
Yes.
Did them wrong.
So, going back to H.H. Holmes, the police found his murder castle, and he was quickly sentenced. And before he got hung, his last words were, let me see if I can do this right. His last words were, "So, Mr. Hangman, do you think I could hear my own blood?"
Oh, what the
Yes, that's what he said.
Boy, it sounds like something you'd see in a movie.
I know, but yeah, that's he said that. He said that.
You know what that just reminded me of? It reminded me of the Fast Furious part, I think 7, when Deckard Shaw was finally arrested.
These people.
Damn. That's kind of chilling. Oh my god.
He asked him that.
What the freak?
So, Mr. Hangman, do you think I could hear my own blood?
Yes, that's what he said.
Ugh. Oh my.
And then he asked, he asked him, I wonder if I could hear my own blood. I would really like to hear that. And that's all he said.
Too bad we can't ask him if he actually heard it or not.
I don't know. You know.
Oh my.
Wow, that is that's,
yeah. Take over, guys. I'm gonna get something to drink.
This show just keeps getting stranger and stranger. I don't know if I want to produce this anymore.
Here, yeah.
Yeah, says the guy who's gonna play Mortal Kombat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, would that make you against trannies because you're playing 10K?
You're gonna go out.
Watch and listen to yesterday's show, folks.
Yes, you're gonna go out and you're gonna like chop people in half now.
We hit the sixth. We broke the sixth wall.
Boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, we came back with the vengeance, I see, guys. We came to swing for the fences.
Yes, and now we're coming back with weirdness.
Now we're coming... Yeah, today we bring you guys serial killers. Yesterday we talked about controversial issues.
Wait till you hear what we got for tomorrow's show. At the conclusion of this show.
Indeed.
Speaking of, you were talking about queen pins earlier.
Yeah.
I listened to a show... and it's by the Parcast Network. It's called Kingpins. They, explain who they are and why they did what they did and how and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But they also cover queen pins. Mm-hmm. And there was an episode, her last name was Cartwright, I believe. And she was in Philly. And she actually walked away from what she was doing. And now she's a public speaker. She's in her 70s, I believe. There
was one queen pen story who I saw. She was from California. She, again, this is brilliant because, yeah, she did what she did, but she also had a business where she sold hair.
Oh, wow.
So while she's over here selling cocaine and all these drugs, she also has a legitimate business on the side. Now,
right.
Again, queen pens are more about making money there and about the business of this.
Yeah.
Kingpins are too much into the testosterone and force
look at
and
me.
brute force and all this crap.
Yeah, look at me. I want to be rich. I want to wear those nice clothes. I want to get the nice cars. Mm-hmm. And I want to have all the beautiful women.
She was eventually arrested for everything that she did, obviously. And oddly enough, she was arrested at her son's middle school graduation.
Oh my gosh.
Day. She did 14 years. And then she came out and now she became like part of a church and converted into Christianity.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
now
really...
Now she kind of does like the gang outreach, community outreach and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
And mentoring
that's really
people
cool.
that are in, yeah.
Wow. That's really neat.
Yeah.
The cocaine godmother, Griselda Blanco. I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
I've heard, yeah.
Okay. Well, she, basically had men killing for her because, she wanted more and more and more and more and more money, more nice houses, more things for her son, things like that. Well, she was deported back to her country. And in 2012, somebody rode on a motorcycle past her and shot her. Just like they did in the 1980s when they shot this man and they didn't shoot him, they killed his little boy instead by accident.
Oh my
And it was
God.
the same way.
Wow. I drive by.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep. On a motorcycle. the exact same way.
Wow.
Yep. So, it's crazy what these serial killers think of.
It really is. You get into the you get into the thought process of these people. You're like, wow, that's
Yeah.
it has a level of fascination to it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at not Marilyn Manson, Charles Manson. Whoops. Yeah, I know. You look at Charles Manson. He had all these women. They were all on LSD. You know, he was controlling them. And they killed for him. Now, Tex Watts, who was the man who killed Sharon Tate. No, not Sharon Tate. One of the people that were in the Tate house.
Yeah.
He actually thought about killing for a long time. And he just did it.
Wow. Holy crap.
And his sentence? Insane hospital. Not prison. When the girls got prison time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Why did he do it? I don't know. But I do know why the girls did it. They wanted to do everything Charlie said.
Yeah, and Charlie recently passed away a few years ago. I think,
Yes, he did.
was it last year, 2 years ago?
Last year, I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. And he was like
He died of
84,
was it
85.
natural causes?
Yeah, natural causes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And he always
Insane
said,
asylum. Holy crap.
yeah. And Charles Manson was in prison. And Charles Manson always said he didn't order them to do anything. You know. And the Helter Skelter thing, where he would listen to the album, that was made up by the prosecution for more publicity.
Wow, I'm not surprised.
He never did that. Now, he did believe in a race war, though.
And they... Wow, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, actually,
they
no.
weren't
I'm
able-
sorry. It wasn't... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
They weren't able to prove that he ordered these women to kill, right?
Right. At all.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't think it was a race war. I think it was people that he knew that rejected him. You know. Because he wanted to kill Terry Melcher, who was a producer who told him that his music just wasn't the kind of music they were looking for. And that's when Sharon Tate came into play, because Melcher wasn't living at the house anymore. So.
Holy crap, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It really is, yeah.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
I think we've covered everything today. Can you think of anything else?
Serial killer related, yeah, I believe we've covered everything today, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Producer, for a helping hand.
You're welcome, guys. Anytime.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Yes. And thank you for being behind the scenes, too.
I do my cameos
we
from
literally,
time to time.
yes, we literally can't do this show without you.
This is true, yes.
So, we're done. Do you want to
I'm
take us
appalled
out?
by your cringeworthy comments.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, we didn't mean to make you cringe.
We didn't mean to make you cringe. I'm sorry.
Well, before we leave, I just want to remind you guys, we will be on tomorrow, Thursday. And you won't want to miss tomorrow's show. We're going to be talking about the attributes of God. Is he good?
Ooh.
Or is he, well, not as good as people? Find out tomorrow, guys. We'll see what we got to say about that.
Yeah. We got a lot
I'm
of good
intrigued.
stuff coming for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the same God, or are there two faces? Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yes.
I'll show them
And I
out,
will give it
guys.
to my colleague Ness to usher us out.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Crime Syndicate. Again, a reminder, be sure to subscribe, like, thumbs up, ring that bell, and of course, follow us on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and join us tomorrow for endless possibilities. And remember to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. And as I always like to say, God bless y'all. Peace.
You can ring my bell, ring my bell. I thought it was apropos.